Welcome back everybody to another digital sculpting quick sketch video. I am Follygon. Click that subscribe button if you are new around here, and check out gumroad.com/Follygon for things like my courses, brushes, and materials. So in the past few quick sketch videos, I've been doing a lot of that in Nomad Sculpt, but I decided to play around a little bit more doing a quick sketch in ZBrush. I was already sitting down at my desk, and I thought that I could work probably a little bit faster here on my desktop rather than on the iPad. I've mentioned before that I'm probably about 3 or 4 times slower, maybe even more than that, when I'm sculpting on the iPad. It's just something that I'm not quite used to yet. I haven't done it a ton, and overall I just have a lot less control there, so a lot of the more powerful tools that I have here on my desktop computer in ZBrush just don't exist over there. So that's very nice for, speeding up your workflow and making things go a little bit quicker. So I had a little bit more time with my 30 to 45 minutes here for this quick sketch. Very inspired by Spirited Away. No-Face at the end, he turns into this kind of crawling monstrosity, so I kind of played around with that idea. If you haven't seen Spirited Away or any of the Studio Ghibli movies, I highly encourage them. Some of my favorite movies. I have some great artwork out on my wall outside my office of a few of the films. Love them all, definitely check them out. So I started off with this really simple shape of a sphere, pulled out that longer portion of the body or tail, whatever you want to call it, gave him some quick form inside of the mouth for some gums, and now I'm already going in and starting to work on the quick arm. So for this, I just start off with a sphere, pull it out into a tube, duplicate it, and begin shaping it up a little bit more and combining those forms to create that shape that I need there for the arm. I cheat a little bit here and use an insert brush that I created from a hand that I sculpted maybe like a year or two ago. I've had this hand for quite a while. Throughout the years, I've been updating it. You can get it over on my Gumroad if you're interested. It comes with all my custom brushes. Since then, I've added in additional hands and feet. It's really nice as just a placeholder or starting point to begin working on and creating a couple more visually interesting forms. So I use that to get a little bit of a head start on a hand. If I was just spending 30 minutes sketching some kind of figure and I wanted to create a hand, I would be pretty hard pressed to get out a decent looking hand in that amount of time. So it's really nice to have something like that to, not necessarily cheat, because it is something that I've sculpted in the past, but like I said, just for a quick sketch, it's nice to have. Duplicate that, mirror it over to the other side, and begin working on that asymmetrically. Pretty much keep this thing asymmetrical the entire time. That's something I want to do a little bit more with these sketches, just so I can get a little bit more practice in that area. I really like sculpting asymmetrically, as I feel like it's really the part, or one of the main parts in sculpting where things really start to come alive. As great as symmetry is, nothing that is, organic or in nature is going to be absolutely perfectly symmetrical. There is always going to be some variation there. It's nice to start off in that mode to, save yourself a lot of time in the block out, intermediary shapes. But as you start to push forward on those forms a little bit more, you are eventually going to have to break symmetry. If you do not, things are just going to look completely awkward and incorrect. Now with stylization, there's definitely some room for argument there in terms of keeping things perfectly symmetrical. It really just depends on what you're trying to create. But here at least, I went completely asymmetrical there with a lot of the forms, played around with the teeth a lot, had an absolute blast making these teeth. I thought they turned out really cool. Did some little tricks to them with trim brushes and decimation to make them look really faceted and nasty. That was a lot of fun, and then I also used them to inflate and remove from the gum form inside of the mouth to create this kind of slotting effect around there. So if you look a little bit closely around the base of the teeth, you'll kind of see how they're socketed in place there. Then some quick color, and then we are on to adding in some additional form to different parts of the body. So I played around with a brush here I think it's called the spiral brush. I really don't use it very often. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of these kind of gimmicky brushes, but they can be fun to play with. This is just a default brush here in ZBrush. It's a lot of fun to play around with, create some visually interesting forms very quickly, and then use a clay brush and a standard brush to begin blending that spiraled form into the head. So for that, I'm just kind of carving in these larger forms at first to kind of block out where I want that form to transition, and then I'm building up and knocking down with the clay brush to go back through and fill in some of those forms. A quick little bit of paint to fill in the inside of the mouth to match the gums and create, the illusion of depth there for the throat. And then a tongue. I don't know what it is about creating tongues, But it's a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys have seen my Sculptober video where I created the Oni mask, but I really enjoyed sculpting the tongue for that character. This one, I took a little bit of visual or mental inspiration from when I sculpted that, put in some nice sharp forms in a couple different areas, just kind of creating something that's visually interesting that doesn't necessarily feel organic because there's a lot of sharpness going on there, but it still creates a very visually interesting and striking shape in the silhouette. So that is something that I'm always looking to create, and it turned out fairly successful here for a quick sketch. Awesome. Well, that is going to be it for this quick video. Hope you guys enjoyed the quick little doodle here, inspired by No-Face from Spirited Away. If you are new around here, click that subscribe button, and if you want to learn more about digital sculpting, check out gumroad.com/Follygon. There you can find things like my custom brushes, and I have a bunch of other free goodies on there as well. Let me know if you guys are enjoying the quick sketch videos down in the comments. You have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.